Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Ondas, and today is Thursday, March 14th, 2024. And I am not here with you live today. This is pre-recorded. I'm with my grandchildren, but I am excited to share with you a really cute card. We are going to be using one of the new online bundles. It's called Filled with Fun. And we're going to make a darling birthday card or some type of celebratory card. You can use this card for several different occasions. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you found me. I hope you'll like what you'll see and hit that subscribe button. And if you're with me live or catching the replay, thank you so much for your support and being here with me. I really enjoy spending time with you. So I'm going to flip this camera down and we're going to get started. Okay, so the stamp set or bundle that we're using is Filled with Fun. This is a photopolymer stamp set. It has some greetings. You make my heart bloom, celebrating someone special, and sending loads of happiness. And you have a wagon and the pieces, parts to the wagon, balloons, presents, and flowers. And then you have these great dies that cut out all of these images, plus some additional ones that give you some more detail, primarily these flags. So we're going to be using, I'm going to actually pull them out ahead of time. We're going to be using the flowers and the wagon handle. So let's pull those out. Now there's one other set of dies that I'm using. I'm using the deckled rectangle. And you can do this card without using these. I'm using the second and third largest rectangles for my two top layers on the front of my card, but you could easily just as cut your layers a 1/4 inch smaller and layer them that way too. So don't let that stop you from thinking about making the card. So let's get started, and I'm going to bring in my layers. I have several here. And for the card base, I am using Daffodil Delight. And this is 5 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Sorry about that. Scored at 4 1/4. Now, don't worry about measurements at all, because I am going to have a downloadable PDF with instructions for this card. And that'll all be ready to go right after this video. So we are going to start on our layers. Now, I decided to use a piece of designer series paper. I just thought it was bright. It just fits this card so well. This is from the Be Mine 12 by 12 designer series paper. And this is in the mini catalog, which is still current until the end of April. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to add this to my front of my card. So there is lots going on this week. You may have seen Stampin' Up! Is having their big conference or big seminar, and several demonstrators from around the world. It is in different places, and this year it's in Houston. So some of my friends have gone to that. I did not go this year. I went last year, and I thought this year I would wait and maybe go next year. So here's the front of our card. Now, I'm going to grab a layer of white, and our next 2 layers are going to be black, and this was cut with the second largest deckled rectangle, and then this is going to be layered with white, which is the 3rd largest deckled rectangle, but not quite yet. We're going to do some stamping, so I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to bring in some scrap paper. Now, these are photopolymer stamps, so I am going to bring in my piercing mat. I find I get much better images for me if I use it. So I am going to stamp all of my stamps in Tuxedo Black, the Memento ink, because I'm going to be coloring my images with Stampin Blends. So since the Stampin Blends are alcohol markers, you want to use your Tuxedo Black ink to be able to stamp those. So my ink is right here. The first thing I want to stamp are my flowers. Now I like to ink up by flipping my ink pad over and actually coming down on my stamps. I do this for most of my stamps simply because I find I don't get as much of over inking or a mess around that. So let's stamp this here. I'm just going to give it a good press. That looks good. And you can see I did get a little bit of ink there. I think it was there before I stamped. And I'm going to stamp the handle while I have the black open. So this is the handle for the wagon. So I'm going to ink that up, and we're just going to go ahead and give that a good press. All right, now next I want to stamp my wagon, and my wagon is going to be real red. So we're going to open that up. And I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. And we're going to take the stamp. And you can see I've used the red before. My photopolymer stamp is stained. It does not affect the quality of your image. Photopolymer stamps will stain with reds or dark pinks, purples, even some of the blues. But it does not affect the quality of the stamp. I can see there's one little area here when I got in the light that wasn't covered well. So let's bring this up, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a good press. So one way to clean these is I use the Stampin' Mist to clean my stamps, but when I'm using red on photopolymer stamps, I will also go back and clean it with some soap and water and even some alcohol. So here are the parts that we're going to cut out. But before I do those, I want to color my flowers. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've pulled out bunches of Stampin' Blends. I'm using Bubble Bath. I'm going to use Calypso Coral. I'm going to use my Lemon Lolly. And I am using Lemon Lime Twist for the leaves. So with these, I'm going to start with my dark. And I'm just going to kind of go around, and I'm adding a little bit of color here towards the inside. Now, the one thing I have found using this glass mat is I feel like my Stampin' Blends blend better. I don't know what it is, and it could be my imagination, but I've heard other people say that too, and they just seem to blend nicer. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add one down here, a little bit darker. So when I'm using my Stampin' Blends, I tend to start with my dark first and then go to my light to blend. The other thing is that I will go back over to even add more color if I want to. I also do small areas at a time. I find they blend better that way. If I do large areas, they dry quick. It's alcohol, and they don't blend as well for me. So let's go ahead and we're going to add this one here. This is my dark Calypso Coral. Just adding a little bit of accent where the stamp's already provided and just going to blend that color in. I'm not really worrying about if it's all even. I do want a little variation in color, even like some lighter areas where it might be a little bit white, because everything isn't perfectly symmetrical in life. So there's that one. Now I'm going to do another Calypso coral. I'm going to do this one right here. Just going to add. I don't know about you, but I love to color. If you're out there, let me know if you like to color. I think that's the child in me that never really grew up. I have always loved to color, and I love Stampin' Blends. I just think they can add so much, I don't know, life to your stamping. So this one's just going to be here. All right, now over here, I'm going to add Calypso coral too. And then we're going to add some lemon lolly. And if you hear chewing in the background, that's not me. That is my golden, who's got his bone and brought it in here so he could be with mom. He cannot be a foot away from mama. So let's go here. All right, so you can see it's kind of coming now to life, and you can see how that's blending. Let me just hold that up for you for a minute, and we're going to add our lemon lolly. But you can see, hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to go with my dark lemon lolly. Now I am using the bullet points. I am a big fan of the brush part because I like to get done. But I'm finding more and more, I like the control of the bullet point and the ability to really, in smaller areas, get a little bit more precision with that bullet point. So there's that. Now we're going to go over to here, and we're going to do, let's do a yellow one here. So just takes a little bit of time to do, but I find it very relaxing. So I'm interested to know if you've looked at the new online exclusives and if there's any that really caught your eye, or maybe you've even ordered some. So I'd love to hear what you've ordered. I just think they're so pretty. Let's go here with a yellow. And here, I don't know that I have a favorite. I love the latte. I love the zinnia, and this one is just so much fun that I think the online exclusives just keep getting better and better. So, all right, let's go with this. I would take his bone away from him, but so you wouldn't hear him. But then he'd try to get in my lap or jump on me. So I'm not going to do that right now. So I will apologize for him. This is the Daffodil Delight, and it's the dark one. And I'm using it for the centers. Another one that you could use might be Wild Wheat. Pumpkin pie if you want a deeper, a light orange center, but I just wanted that yellow center to the flower. And we're going to tuck that in here. All right, we're almost done. We just have our flower leaves to do, and I'm just going to add a dark to the accent points, and that was light that I had grabbed. I thought that looked a little light, and we're going to go ahead and blend that in. Now we are going to cut the flowers and the wagon out, and then we're going to assemble them, and we're going to pop those up with dimensionals. And I'm anxious for you to see it. Let's so if you have questions, please post them. I know I'm not here, but I promise I will get back to you with an answer. I'm just using the bullet point here to go down the stems really lightly. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this and this here. Okay. And let's just add this, and we'll be all set and ready to die cut these. Okay. Now I can see one little spot here on my flower where I missed the edge of a petal. So I'm just going to fill that in. And then I'm going to fill in right here, my calypso coral. All right, so let's get these cut out and assembled. So I'm going to take my die, and I do use tape. Use your washi tape. If you, I cannot hold them in place and get a good cut. They always slip on me. So I do use a tape to make sure that they hold in place. So we're going to take this down. And then we also have our little handle here. So I'm going to run these through all at once. Now, the one thing to notice about the handle is the die is longer than your stamped image. And the reason being is it allows you to, that's where you're going to anchor it to the back of your wagon. So let me grab another little piece of tape here. And we're just going to anchor that. And I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss machine. And we're going to run these through all at once. So I know this may be kind of close for you to see, but it's only going to take a minute, and we're going to run these through. So I'm using on the mini a plate number 1 and both of the number 2 plates. So once you have those sandwiched, you're just going to run them through, and you might hear a pop. And I think we're good here. So let's take these out, and now we're ready to assemble our little wagon. Here's the example, or what I was talking about with the handle. You can see you have a little bit of the handle that isn't colored, and that's what's going to attach to the back of our wagon. So let me take the tape off here. And you can see you have an edge on the flowers that you can attach to the back of your wagon. And we're going to go right ahead and do that. So I'm going to bring in my glue. And I'm going to use my little glue gun here. And I'm just going to run a real slight thin edge of glue there. And then I'm going to take my wagon, and I'm just going to lay it down right where the stems of the flowers start. So here's our wagon. Now, I am going to take this, and this is going to attach. I want it to kind of angle in. So I'm going to attach that right there. Now, you could use a glue dot. You could use tape. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. Okay. And I'm going to have to look at it as I angle it. And I want that to come right over the edge of the flower there. So here's our wagon. All right, let's move this out of the way. Now this is going to get put onto here, and it's going to go towards the bottom. But I want to use this to also stamp my greeting. And I am using a greeting from the stamp set. Let's see what we're going to use. How about celebrating someone special? So I'm going to drop this down because I find if I line this up, I almost always get a very nice stamped image. So I'm going to just pick this up, and we're going to ink this with the Tuxedo Black. So I'm going to bring this back in, and I want to show you how I'm going to do this. I want to make sure I have enough room to add tires to my wagon. So I want to be able to stamp this. So I'm just going to kind of lay that there, engage it. And then I'm going to take just the tip of a pencil and I'm going to mark where my wheels would be. Let me take that off and show you. So you can see I have two little marks there. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my wheels, and I have them right here. And these I'm not popping out. These I'm going to stamp right onto that piece of basic white. So I'm going to bring this back in, and I'm working really hard to stay in your view because I've noticed the last couple times I did not do such a good job of that. So I'm just lining up with my little mark, ink up again. That's not inked well. Okay. And gonna line up again. Okay, there's my tires. So when I pop this up with dimensionals, they're gonna go right over that just like that, which means I now can stamp my greeting. Now, what I liked about this is that I can get that P right between the flowers, and it looks just like it was meant to fit there. So I'm going to ink this up well. Okay. And I am going to try not to get in your camera view, but we're going to come right, I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way here, and we're going to come right in here. Okay, now we're ready to put this on. So I've got my dimensionals ready, and we're going to pop on several of them. So I've cut mine in half, as I normally do, and I just want this to have a real good base for it so that it doesn't kind of collapse in the mail. So, do you have any fun plans for the weekend, anybody? I really have a quiet weekend. I have lots to get done with my stamping, and I'm anxious to hear what went on On Stage. And actually, next week, as a demonstrator, we get access to the online catalog for the annual catalog for 2024, 2025. So that's pretty exciting. I'm real excited to see what new products are coming out and even what's retiring. We always know things retire when the catalogs, we lose the old that we love, but we also gain some new. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now that is a lot of dimensionals, but I just really wanted that to hold up well because it will likely go through the mail. All right, take these off. And I think we're about there. Oops. All right, so here's our wagon. And we're going to set this right over the wheels. And press it down lightly. Okay, now we're ready to mount this onto the basic black. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some multi-purpose glue. You could use dimensionals, but since I've popped up the wagon, I really don't want to add any more height or thickness to the card than I've already added. And these two deckled rectangles just look so good together. And I love the black on the with the yellow. So let's add this. Okay. And we're going to add this to the front of our card. It looks pretty even. All right, let's go to the inside. The inside I'm going to leave pretty simple. You know, I don't stamp my greetings very often ahead of time. So I have a layer of black that's 4 by 5 1/4 and a layer of basic white that is 3 3/4 by 5. So what I thought would be cute to add on here, since we're saying we're celebrating, would be a balloon. So I'm going to go ahead, and you have like the string to a balloon in this stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and thought it would be fun to, let's go that way, stamp that right there. And then for my little balloon, I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight. Let's ink that a little better, and then come in right at the tip of that string. And we have the inside of our card. Now, one thing I didn't do was cut another piece. You could easily cut another piece, and I'll show you a card that has a piece of this designer series paper, and run it right along the edge for that. And it looks really cute, but I somehow negated to cut that. So let's add this, and then we'll add some embellishments to the front of the card. So what do you think of this bundle? I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. And let's add this here. So okay. So I just think the black with the Daffodil Delight just pops so pretty. That looks good. Now for the front, I thought I would take and use my classic matte dots, and I'd use the small ones, and got a little piece of fuzz there, and maybe just add them. You can add them around, or even just add them in a row. So let's try that. I'm going to pick up this one, and I'm just going to add this here, and one here, and one here. Move that up a little bit. Okay. And then we're done. Now, let me show you, move this out of the way. Now, here's the card I made earlier where I added a bow to it. So this is a linen thread bow. So you can see the difference in the two there. And then on the inside of this one, I took that strip of designer series paper and ran it right along the edge with the balloon. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's card. I really enjoyed being here with you, even though I'm not live. I was really looking forward to showing you this bundle. If you did enjoy today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It does help me grow my channel, and feel free to share the videos with anyone that you may like to. I will have the link in the will go live at the end of this video, and you'll be able to download the PDF tutorial. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe and well, and I look forward to seeing you again on Monday at 7 o'clock. Have a great evening, everybody.